2012 is back, baby! Now, 2012 was a very elusive year for me. This is actually one of the years that I kind of fell off a little bit out of LEGO, just for a little bit. And it was like 4th grade, so obviously I had to be one of the cool kids and get into much more productive hobbies like Connects.
Oh yeah, I'm a wealthy businessman.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I'm the new voice of Spinbrick.
And obviously I have a lot more sets than just these, but 2012 was actually probably the year I have the least amount for. And actually a lot of the stuff that you see here, I actually accumulated in my collection over time. And that's actually kind of crazy to think about. But all the things I do have are some of the things I cherish. This might be one of the shortest yearly retrospectives I do on this channel. Now first, I want to go over these beautiful minifigures. And honestly, I wanted to go over one of my favorite minifigures of all time. Now the Deadpool minifigure only came in the Deadpool helicopter that came out in 2012. And it's one of the few X-Men sets that have come out in all of LEGO Marvel history, essentially. And this is the only exclusive LEGO Deadpool minifigure. Now, the only reason I got this for so dirt cheap is essentially because it has a giant crack on the side right here. His legs and arms are a little bit flimsy, but besides that, like, it's pretty good condition otherwise. Like, I don't really do much with this anyway. Like, this has definitely gone through the ringer a little bit. It is missing his katanas and his guns right here, but to be honest, for being the only LEGO Deadpool, is pretty insane. And I know like the reasoning for it is obviously for like the rated R kind of stuff. Like obviously these are made for kids essentially, and Deadpool is pretty rated R, not PG-13, but he can be PG-13. And I think that's the thing. It's like, especially when this set came out at the time, there was like Ultimate Spider-Man, now he's in Rivals, and he's been in like countless video games and other medias where it's kind of like, and also there was the Deadpool 2 PG-13 version that came out in 2018. That was a re-release for Deadpool 2. So like the fact that like Deadpool hasn't had another minifigure for how popular, like literally in 2024, he was the biggest movie of that year, one of the highest grossing movies that Marvel's ever produced. So, and he's had 3 very, very great films. 2012 was the first year that Marvel went crazy with LEGO, and it was the first year that wasn't just centric on Spider-Man. There were LEGO Spider-Man sets in 2002 and 2004, so technically there were Marvel sets that came out prior to this, but 2012 was when they had like the Avengers lineup, some X-Men stuff, and a lot of comic book stuff. And this is the only other figure I have of this year that's like Marvel related, and it is the Loki minifigure right here. And the Loki minifigure from Avengers is pretty cool. I mean, I love the very unique horns right here. His staff is pretty much perfect from the film version, and honestly, like the beautiful green cape and like color aesthetic is pretty good. It does use a pretty generic face, pretty much like the Lex Luthor face they also used in this like same year as well, which I'll get to in a little bit. But like this year also like showed off like Doctor Doom and other like really cool comic book characters that we haven't seen a lot in LEGO. Like Loki's been remade quite a few times, but 2012 was a very special year. And actually, I'm just kidding, because I do have technically another figure from this year, but it's a keychain. I have the little Hulk keychain that's basically based off like the first Avengers movie, because like in the first Avengers, he was like a very bright green, and so like this is supposed to kind of represent that, but just in a minifigure form. But this minifigure form was basically just a keychain. Like I took the keychain off because it was like the only Hulk figure we ever grew up with, so it was always cool to kind of battle it out a little bit. But like we didn't have that many Marvel figures and a lot of big figures besides our Wampa from the previous year, so it was kind of like it was either this or the Wampa that's translating into the Hulk. So you know what, we made what we could with our imaginations as kids. And now I'm going to kind of go round out some of the other figures that we have here. And actually the really cool thing is that I do have 2 of the DX's Ninjago from 2012. And these are really cool variants. I forgot where I actually got these because I never grew up with these. These did accumulate in my collection through over time. And I do really like this like nice dragon symbol on both of these. And I think these are like some of the more rarer versions of these Ninjago figures for Kai and Cole. So very unique, honestly. I don't know what the consensus in the Ninjago community is. Like I did talk about these guys back in my Ninjago collection video from 2024, but even then I really don't know that crazy much about this part of the lore. I know it was still from like the DX's versions from like season 1 or something, so it was like a 2012 variant, but now we're finally cooking because we're finally talking about monster fighters on this channel right here. We have Ann Lee, and this guy. And this guy actually showed up in the Vampire Hearse. Very unique, very cool. And we have Ann Lee that actually showed up in the Mummy and the Bone Train. So very unique figures right here. I love the bow. I really love this like prosthetic leg, and I love the aesthetic that Monster Fighters really goes for. And actually, I do have another really great figure right here. I do have Vampire from the Vampire Hearse, and he's really unique because this casket is like really cool. I actually found him in this casket originally, and so I opened it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Dracula. It's essentially a Dracula figure. And for being my only Dracula figure, like, I adore it so much. And I'm actually pretty certain if I turn off the lights, he glows up in the dark. Like, holy crap, he glows up in the dark. And the funny part is that if I turn off the lights again, look at that, even the ghost from the Ghost Train even glows up too. These are some of my really coolest figures that are in the collection, honestly. And the funny part is too, is that I also have one of the Mummy skeleton ghosts as well too. Look at that, they're like glowing like crazy, and you can see my finger was over it too, where the light part was, but like these are some of like the coolest glow-in-the-dark figures, and it makes it really creepy for the aesthetic they're going for Monster Fighter. Okay, now I'm gonna speed run through a lot of these figures right here. So this is the figure that I use in a lot of my compilation videos right here. It's the very sleepy kid, and he actually has a little teddy bear that goes next to him too. So very unique. Actually, a lot of the things I will notice about most of my minifigures from this time is that all these figures that are from like the CMF series are essentially figures that I actually did grow up with, including this amazing little Luke Skywalker right here. This Luke Skywalker and this Sand Trooper right here. And I will show a little bit of the set that I had the Sand Trooper with the C-3PO and R2-D2. And one thing I'll note, at least with this like Sand Trooper from this time too, is that it was like the year where they transitioned to the new Stormtrooper design. And actually, the print that they used for the torso would be carried on through 2013 and onward, but they still use the old variant for the Stormtrooper. So it's like that little middle ground year where right before they got into the 2014, 2013 era for Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers, this was kind of like the first year they transitioned. So that's really cool. And we have this really cool cyborg dude, this little DJ with the cool headphone mold right here. I love this nurse piece. Like, I think this is one of my favorite figures from the CMF. It's just this nurse. I've used this nurse so many times for a lot of mock-ups. Like, I love like basically the fill-in for like Shakespeare right here. I love that they have this nice little beret kind of thing. And then you got a cool mobster. So it really fits the era that the 300 years these guys go between right here. Though the Ninjago figures right here are very special. Now, I did talk about these also in my Ninjago collection back a couple years ago as well, and this comes in a big serpent set. So we're gonna get to these guys in a little bit because it's really cool. And I'm also gonna talk about these Lego City figures in a little bit because they also come in another set. So we're gonna start talking about some Lego sets today. Now, something that's very unique to my collection is these planetary sets. Now, in 2012 and 2013, Lego did something a little bit experimental. So they did these planetary sets. Essentially what they did is they had like a Polybag mini set build to accompany with a minifigure, a nice little display, and they had these giant molds of these planet sets right here. So in my collection, I only have the Yavin planetary ball right here, on top of having the Endor, the Forest Moon of Endor right here as well. And these are like really huge molds, and I'm surprised how much they don't actually use these kind of molds anymore. They're only really unique to this sub-theme, and I'm just kind of perplexed at that, honestly. Like, they do split into two pieces, so very unique in that way. And in my collection, strangely enough, I used to have the ATST that came with this Endor, and this was the only one I ever actually had. I accumulated this Yavin 4 right here, and you would think that I had this X-Wing, but the funny part is that this Polybag X-Wing actually came out in 2011, which I was going to talk about in my 2011 retrospective, except for the fact that technically it was the exact same Polybag and the exact same version of this set that we got 1 year later that they put in the Yavin 4 set. The only modification is that these dark red pieces I had to replace because most of them broke off because they're very fragile pieces, so I made it red. I kind of like this modification I made to it, honestly. Like, I kind of prefer it. It does come with an X-Wing pilot, so I really do dig that, honestly. And they're nice, like, displays, essentially. Like, this is, like, one of my favorite ways that these, like, Star Wars Polybags are actually displayed. Though, the reason I'm saying this is that I never actually owned this set. I had the accumulation of a minifigure, I found the stand right here, and I have the X-Wing. The X-Wing I actually got in the Lego Star Wars Visual Dictionary. It was like the smaller ones, like the smaller books that you got at like the book fairs, and it had a Polybag from 2011. So it's kind of, in a way, like lazy they would just remake the exact same set, but it is really cool that this set was actually made twice. And it was the fact that I also bought this TIE Interceptor because it's basically a very similar model to the TIE Interceptor that we got in 2024. It's literally just the difference between the windshield piece and the front pieces are just different. Instead of binoculars, they were just different molds essentially. And I do have the actual plate underneath it because I just bought this at a Bricks and Figs like a couple years ago when the new set came out to compare it with. So it is very fascinating how much Lego actually does replace it. Oh, and actually these parts right here are actually different technically too. So there's that. Now this is my crowning jewel. This is literally one of my favorite little polybag designs ever. And it's actually another funny thing because this set also got re-released just like the X-Wing set that came out too, like a year prior, except this one was from 2011. This one was a re-release from 2008. So technically I'm holding a 2008 polybag that got re-released with the Darth Maul packaging in 2012. And that's why it has like the blue kind of stripes, because actually there was a bigger TIE Fighter companion with it. Though it's kind of iconic that this set lasted about 5 years on shelves. That is insane, especially for the blueprint was very like middle 2000s, and even at 2008 this would be outdated. But for some reason I find this little polybag to be so charming that, strangely enough, I used to own like 3 of these sets as a kid. Like I have 3 of these in my collection, and this is the only one I still have to this day in its original form. So I find that kind of crazy, and it is kind of the mold for how like Lego TIE Fighter like mini sets are supposed to look, in my opinion. They kind of kept the same kind of physique, and honestly I hope they remake another TIE Fighter since it's been since 2018. Now this is a recent addition to my collection. This is an actual World War II like camel biplane essentially, and oh my goodness, this is kind of crazy. So they did do a bigger version of the set, which actually my friend John just had. So we actually have the mini set, so we both have a version of this mini set, and I honestly think for like being an actual like physical plane that like existed in real life, this is kind of insane. This is like really one of the few sets that like are world, like they're actual like war planes essentially. Like Lego doesn't do a lot of like military sets. Like Indiana Jones is like the only real example I can give for that because it's based off a movie that's based on like parts of real life. So like kind of crazy that this thing actually exists in Lego, and it's one of the only realistic like real world vehicles from the military in a polybag form. And so I had to just pick it up. I really had to, and I want to make a whole video on this essentially, but you know what, this is like the way I'm going to introduce it because like there's a lot to say about this one. This is kind of crazy, but the model for it itself is like perfect. It's literally perfect. Though now we're going to talk about like one of my favorite Lego sets of all time, and it's one of the original waves for the Lego DCs. Now, also like the same thing with Marvel, DC had plenty of sets that came out before 2012, though that was like mostly all like Batman sets in the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight film, and in 2012 we actually had the Dark Knight Rises on top of a couple other DC sets, and this was like one of the most unique ones because it's like one of the only non-Lego Batman sets to come out in this era. So I kind of find that crazy that like you literally get Lex Luthor, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now for this actually being the first set with a Lego Superman, I don't even think this is the right head mold, but I did find the closest one I could find. I think I'm just missing it because I don't have, like it's supposed to have like red eyes, but you know what, this is pretty close enough. Though I do have everything else that goes with him, and for being essentially the first Superman figure, this is one of my favorites. This is literally crazy that we finally got a Lego Superman in Lego back in 2012. Like it doesn't even feel like that long, but now in the comparison of all Lego, this feels surreal that like this is really one of the few times Superman's made in Lego, and he's like one of the most iconic superheroes of all time. And that's not even to mention that you get literally one of the most perfect Wonder Woman figures of all time, and it also came with a companion with the Superman and Lex Luthor essentially. So it feels nice that like 2 of the biggest superheroes are fighting this giant mech. However, you do get a really nice tiara print up here. You got like 2 faces for Wonder Woman where she's like a little more stern, but then a little more like herself, honestly. And I think like this is kind of one of the perfect minifigures for her. The prints, the details, the everything. Like if you're gonna get a Wonder Woman figure, this is essentially like the most comic version that you can get from it. And these are based off the models from the Lego 2 Batman DC Heroes Unite. So this is very cool and very nostalgic movie for me in that time too. And also, like, this is like what I think of with Lex Luthor. This feels like the comic, this feels like the animated series, this just feels perfect. And it is voiced by Clancy Brown too, and it's very nostalgic just because of the video game and the movie that accompanied it as well. And honestly, I really love the fact that like the first Lex Luthor comes with a giant mech. So you get like the businessman suit, but then you also can just put him in and he can just be in the giant mech with a giant kryptonite beam, and he has like that little shooter. He has like giant legs that have tons of posability essentially, and like the whole body can like swivel essentially, has 2 arms, and the actual cannon can actually come off. Like I'm not gonna lie, this might literally be one of the best LEGO DC sets that LEGO has honestly ever made. It's like one of the best play sets, it's one of the best figure sets, and it's one of the best display sets as well, and one of the best comic sets that we've ever gotten too. Like, you basically get it all, and honestly, I got this for less than $20. Like, this is still incredibly cheap to still buy, so like, trust me, this is the one to get. And I had this in my collection, but I had to rebuy it within the past year, but I don't mind it because this is one of my favorite sets of all time. Now, I've waited a very long time to finally talk about this LEGO set. So back in like 2018, I went on a very nice camping trip, and the funny part is that we went to a flea market, and I only had about $20 that I was able to like spend on the entire week trip that I was there. And at the flea market, I saw this amazing deal where there was like a bag of Legos for not even for like $10. I think it was honestly like $7 for this whole bag, and it was like in pieces essentially, but it had some really unique figures, had a whole like instruction bag and build, and I'm like, no way, I have to get this, because I saw the word ambulance and I'm like, I have to get this. I always wanted an ambulance or like a hospital build in LEGO, and especially in a LEGO City form, so essentially I had to get it. And it was also from 2012, so that was kind of a bonus, my little gap year of sorts. So when I bought this set, I never let go of it. This is one of my favorite LEGO City sets of all time. You get 2 paramedics and a civilian, you get a cool side build and an ambulance, and this is probably one of the fun, like, actual, like, play sets that LEGO City has done in this year. I'll open the back up right here, and you can actually get a little medical bed for the pedestrian, because the whole, like, scenario that you're supposed to play out here is that you put the pedestrian on his bike, and then he gets hit by the ambulance, and now they gotta commit insurance fraud right here, because now it's on them and they're liable for it, so they have to resuscitate him. This is just like a plot from ER, essentially, so very unique in that way. You know, with George Clooney and stuff, so just imagine this being like Mark Green and George Clooney, so it's basically just the exact same plot. And then you gotta put the pedestrian inside the back of the ambulance right here, so that's very cool, and they're gonna get some medical treatment at the hospital that doesn't exist. I had to use my imagination because, of course, the insurance is just not gonna cover this guy because there's no hospital, so he's gonna die in the back seat. Though you can open up the top and you can at least get some fresh air, so that's at least cool. And then you can actually open up the top right here and actually put a minifigure in there, which is essentially, now we gotta put one of the liable paramedics in the front seat right here to actually drive it to the imaginary hospital, so very cool right there as well. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, the reason I love this set the most is the street light. Like, you get a street light, you get this really cool sewer print right here, and then you also get a cool trash can and fire hydrant. Like, this feels like a nice little LEGO City build that, strangely enough, I don't feel like they do as much anymore with these kind of fun little side builds. Like, I know this was like a $20 set back in the day, but for $20, this is really cool, really cool. And honestly, I like the bike. You can put the bike right here too, and it just feels like an actual LEGO city. And this feels like a good companion piece for some of the other LEGO City towns that you got during this era of LEGO. Alright, I lied. I did actually forget about this set right here. And this set is the Desert Skiff with the Sarlacc pit right here from LEGO Star Wars 2012. And this is actually, yet again, one of the really coolest sets that I got from this year. And we actually had 2 of these. Me and my brother actually each had one of these growing up from Christmas, so it was kind of crazy. So we technically had 2 of each figure at one point and had like 2 of each build. And I really want to talk about the Sarlacc pit and Boba Fett right here, because literally you have the Boba Fett minifigure perfectly encapsulated in the Sarlacc's mouth. Now, granted, I know there's some other better Sarlacc builds in recent years, though I'm too nostalgic for this one, and I just love the fact that like the Sarlacc build can actually fit an actual minifigure in it, so it actually felt like one of the coolest play features. Even though this is based off the 1997 version of the Sarlacc, he didn't actually have the beak, but who cares? As a kid, I actually preferred the beak for more of the play function, so you know what? I love it. And the tentacles just add more to the build, like the spikes, the tentacles, the actual build, like the play functionality of it. And also, one of my favorite Boba Fett, since it was the new version with the new helmet, it wasn't just a blank face, it actually looked like the original actor that played Boba Fett back in the 80s, so I honestly kind of respect it more for that. And it's a lot more unique too. And the fact that we also get a Luke Skywalker and my only Lando Calrissian, surprisingly. I've never been able to get another Lando minifigure, but this is probably one of the cheaper sets to get a Lando figure in anyway. It is the skiff version, it's one of his undercover disguises, though I really do adore it anyway. It's a very iconic look for him too. And you also get one of these Glup Shittos, so you know what, whatever, that's pretty cool. The Desert Skiff, however, this is probably one of the best versions of the Desert Skiff. So the platform that Luke stands on can come in and out right here very easily, There's also a nice little secret compartment to put some like blasters and some like little secrets and little Googas right there. And the fact that you get a nice little like control panel like steering right here, and the skiff like back part right here can actually move. It's a very sizable build, and it actually has a secret flick fire missile build under here too. So. And one of the only other Star Wars sets I had from this year is the escape pod from A New Hope. So it is really cool that I got a lot more original trilogy builds, especially since this was the year that Star Wars was transitioning after the Lucas buyout anyway. So pretty cool, pretty unique. They had some other Clone Wars sets this year, but like original trilogy was kind of king also this year too. I am missing a lot of pieces to the escape pod right here, so I don't know how unique it is, but I have the shell for the most part. I got this used, so it's kind of whatever. And it's another typical like R2-D2 C-3PO, but the C-3PO, I think this was the first time it actually had pupils, essentially. So very unique, pretty much the same R2-D2 we've gotten within the past couple years prior to this. So for a Star Wars collection, it's a really cool year, because I feel like this is the transition year for Star Wars before 2013, 2014, 2015. They begin to cook. But last but certainly not least, we have the big Lego Ninjago set that I had for this year. I actually got this from a friend 2 years ago, and it was actually a fully sealed Lego set for me. So I actually built it, and that was also the reason I did the Lego Ninjago collection video back a couple years ago. However, this is kind of one of the biggest sets that I have in my collection, just like literally by its size. Like the big rubber tires, like the big function is that it can actually be more of like a big buggy essentially, and the fact that the tail can actually waggle with just spinning this. Very unique, very cool. I love the green and like the transparent purple pieces, like it's this transparent dark purple, and the fact that you can actually put like these little snake dudes and like serpents and put them in pretty perfectly, honestly, to like pilot this is really unique. There's not like a lot of an interior to this build, but it is cool you can do that. And I'm pretty sure this guy is supposed to be like the second in command. Like I don't know enough about Ninjago. I didn't watch a lot of Ninjago, but I have seen this guy, and he has like this like weird mind control power overload, so I knew that. I just forgot his name. Though the fact is like he has such a really cool like unique mold. Like look how long that snake legs go. Like it feels like an actual snake, you know? Like it's not trying to be too humanoid besides like the torso essentially. Like it's a double-headed snake. He looks cool, looks rad. I know he's basically like the second in command, so he's like one of the main bad guys of the season 1. So I think that's really unique and cool. Though I do have also that comes with this build is the Zane Speeder, and the Zane Speeder is very cool. You can just put Zane right in here, and this is before he turns into a cyborg, by the way. So I just kind of forget that he's Canadian a lot. And the funny part with like a speeder like this too is that it's literally just one wheel and like some flat pieces, so like the actual mobility of it is kind of like weird. At least a speeder most of the time would have 2 tires and not just 1 tire, so kind of funny there, but like it's a very unique build to say the least, at least. So it's like at least like it gives the ninjas a bit of an opportunity to fight against these big serpent build right here. So it's a fun play feature, and you get a really good J minifigure as well. Now I'm not sure what the consensus is on like the silver padding. I personally love the silver padding. It kind of reminds me of like the Toa Nuvas from Bionicle with the silver padding. I know like most of it's just because of the mask essentially, but I don't mind the additional like tertiary color for these guys honestly too, or maybe like the secondary color or whatever you slice and dice. I'm always more of a gold guy over a silver guy anyway, but I don't think it's a bad color combo to mix with these. It's very unique in that sense too, since most of the time they just use gold for the minifigures anyway. But yeah, that's part of my actual collection, and so let's just see what the rest of the year had to offer. So in 2012, I did forget to mention one thing, is that the brick separator actually came out in 2012, and the new version of the brick separator. Not these old flimsy ones that like they had for like 20, 30 years prior, which also had a gray variant and the green variant. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because this might be a special video I do in the future. So 2012 came out with the orange separator, and they really wouldn't come out until next year with another one. I didn't want to really mention all of this, but 630 does count as a 2012 Lego set, so this will count for this video. Now this is also weird because I'm looking through Bricklink right now. This is the first year that they did the Lego Friends theme. Now I never actually really got into Lego Friends because I'm a boy and I don't like girls' toys, so get over it. Now we did do a Lego SpongeBob video for Bikini Bottom Undersea Party when I did my SpongeBob video back a couple months ago. I don't actually have the full set of it, but it is a really neat and cool set regardless, so that would be a set I want want in its completion. The past couple years, they've been doing a bunch of different types of board games. I actually haven't really talked about board games. That actually is a video I've wanted to do for a long time, but I think it would be pretty cool to do. And I actually kind of keep forgetting that they did like these like actual theme, like they did Harry Potter, and I'm looking at the Hobbit one. I would love and adore this Lego Hobbit one, honestly, and just playing a bunch of these different type of games that I haven't played growing up. This one's a personal favorite of mine, and that's literally because I used to own it as a kid, but the Loader and Dump Truck 4201, I used to own this one as a kid, and it kind of makes me mad because I used to have like all these different pieces for it. Like it literally comes with 2 different vehicles. Like it actually has a literal loader that you could actually have, and like I know I have a couple of the like Technic Polybags that came out within the past couple years that's actually more akin to this, but the actual dump truck itself, it's just, I think it's a nice little build. I wish they would do more construction sets again. I don't even know the last time they did construction sets, maybe a couple years, but you know, it's like, it's whatever. It's really cool. It's an actual mining truck though. Like it is like the actual like mining. So bring it back. Stop doing the space mining. Gross. Okay, I actually do have to talk about these. So this is, since it also is the first year of Marvel, this is also in the same time when Hero Factory and the Constructables lines were getting very popular. And so Marvel and DC took a crack at this, and I'm actually specifically looking at the Iron Man one. This is like an elusive one that I've always wanted when I was a kid, honestly. Mainly because I was more of a Spider-Man head anyway, but like the fact that there was an Iron Man Bionicle Hero Factory-esque set that ever came out, I kind of want it. And it's weird because I don't think anyone really cares about it as much as I do, but like I think it makes sense for this exact type of build. He's an Iron Man. It's an actual machine. Like it makes more sense than Hulk and Captain America and Joker. Joker has one. It's just, it's weird. They didn't know what they were really trying to do with it. Like they didn't have an identity with non-Lego ones. They had the Ben 10 ones that came out a couple years ago too, but you know, it's like, oh man, T-Rex Hunter, Lego Dino 2012. Now they were cooking in this era, and this is before they had the whole Jurassic World, Jurassic Park theme. So getting like Lego dinosaur molds like this in 2012 is freaking insane. I kind of honestly miss these days where it was just like we could just make dinosaurs, you know, because we just felt like making dinosaur molds. And then the dinosaur molds were used for the Jurassic World series anyway, so it kind of makes sense. And here's another set that I actually did own, or at least my brother owned at the time, but it was the Batwing battle over Gotham City. Now this one was really cool because you get like the entire Batwing, and like Joker's goon has like this helicopter, and then Joker's like flying off the like his seat from like this like little ladder, and it's essentially used the Spider-Man web, and that's actually how I had a Spider-Man web growing up as a kid, was just from this set alone. I still have the Joker goon. I think I still have all the minifigures for this set, and a couple of the pieces and prints for the like the Batman and the Batwing itself. This is one of the best Batwings they've ever done. It is based off like that DC Heroes Unite Batman and Joker variant, so it is very cool. I think this is one of my favorite like most underrated Batman sets that's ever come out. And it's crazy too because I actually missed a set. I missed the mini sports car. So I actually missed the mini sports car in the video as well too, looking through Bricklink. I can't believe it because it's in the background of every single one of my videos. This is crazy because this is a great little set. Just as like this is the last year that Lego Creator actually did these type of like canister sets, and I'm kind of sad that this is like the year they essentially ended in 2012. But that's why I always kept hold on to this, because I remember like my mom or whoever would just throw away all my little canisters, and I kind of got a little mad at that because honestly this is the only one I still have to this day from when I grew up, and I actually had this at my dad's house like all the time too, so it is a little bit special to me in that way too. But like, yeah, I like it. I like this set a lot, but it's just mostly nostalgia bias. Now I do technically have a lot of the parts for the Vampire Hearse, and I had a couple of the figures too, so like I'm kind of like waiting to see about that one. Though if there is sets that I really want from this era though, I gotta be real, any of like the Lord of the Ring and the Hobbit sets I've been kind of fiending over for a while. Like honestly there's a couple in here that I'm like, how can I not have gotten it? Okay, but obviously Battle of Helm's Deep, like that is a set right now that is like, it is elusive to me now. Like I remember seeing this in shelves at Target at a time, and I'm just kind of like crazy that like I just never actually picked it up. It looks so good. Like it perfectly encapsulates everything from the movie. You have the giant high tower, the long like area of like the wall right there, and the gate. Like the actual gate itself looks phenomenal. You have a bunch of orcs, you got a nice, you get Aragorn, you get Gimli, you get the other elf dude, and a couple like another elf soldier, and you get 3 Uruk-hai. Like that is insane. And you get the little area right there where they actually like blow right underneath. Like that is like, this set is perfect. I just never realized how perfect a set this was, and it has a ladder. Like this encapsulates perfectly from the actual movie. And like they need to make a new one. They need to make a new Helm's Deep set. Like this is a non-negotiable. Okay, and also I remember as a kid, like I really wanted this set. I wanted the oil rig escape from Cars 2. And honestly, it's just because I thought it was one of the coolest scenes in the movie. Was just the opening scene. Like you get like the ski Finn McMissile, you get the evil German dude, and you get like the cool crane thing. Like as an oil rig, I don't even think we've actually gotten like an actual oil rig Lego set. This is just kind of like such a fucking weird. And also the guy that gets cubed and turned into a box, he just has his eyes. That is morbid. That's like one of those brutal deaths in the Cars franchise, and he's just there. I mean, like this set is insane and crazy. It's one of the coolest sets, by the way. I'm like, and it's also much smaller in my, like, looking at the actual image now for like 200 pieces is insane how much they compacted into this, but it's very small, but really cool set nonetheless. And okay, I have the minifigures for this set too, but I need to get the TIE Fighter from 2012. The TIE Fighter from 2012 is probably one of my favorite looks for the TIE Fighter. Obviously, the 2018 version is just superior in every way, but like, I have all the minifigures somehow to this set, and I need to get this set now. Okay, but if you want like my last one that I'm like honestly wanting, it's the Sith Fury class interceptor. Like, what am I saying here? Like everyone wants this set. Like everyone likes the Old Republic, even if they haven't played the Old Republic. You know how important this kind of set is. And getting a Darth Malgus, like getting actual legend sets and video game sets from Star Wars is just so rare. Like you get it. We do get it crumbs. We get crumbs of Fallen Order, some of the newer games, but like this takes the cake. And I mean, it's just a beautiful ship. You get great figures. I need to get the set. And okay, the Malevolence. Like this ship, it bothers me because it's like it's only in like the earliest episodes of Clone Wars the set even was based off of, and it was like the longest like time where we didn't have an actual separatist ship except for this very niche type of ship right here. But at the time, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, it is a cool set, but like, I don't know, like, it gets overhyped. I would still like to have it one day, but it's not like one I'm gonna be like, oh crap, I just gotta get that Clone Wars version of Dooku and Padme and just get this very niche type of ship. I mean, I think there's other niche ships that I would rather get before this one. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And then you get Palpatine's arrest. What was this? Like, I really miss 2012 like 2012 Star Wars was so elusive to me because I wasn't really even that big of a Lego fan, and yet they were cooking with Palpatine's arrest. Like, how do we get that many Jedi figures and such like an iconic scene and location, and we only get it one time? And of course, it was the year that I wasn't really in the Lego, and even then, this is still just as long as my other yearly retrospectives. Yeah, and also this one, so my friend John actually has this one, but the Sub with Camel. So I have the mini version of it, but he has the big boy version of it, and I have a video of it right here, and I have a picture of it right here as well. This was the set that he literally only wanted, and he hasn't bought a Lego set since, I don't even think. Like, I think he just bought it, he was like, this is the one I've always wanted as a kid, and always was elusive to him, and he bought it. And I don't blame him. This is just a beautiful build all the way around. I'm surprised that even more World War II vehicles are made like this. This needs to still be a whole topic. I need to make a whole topic on this video. Like, I need to talk about this in Indiana Jones. It's gonna happen. MBA Level 3 Kit the Dark Layer Polybag. This is a Master Builder set. I have never seen this set before in my life. I am just putting this on screen because I have legit I don't even know what this is. Okay, and the last things I want to talk about in this video is the Polybags, because the MTT mini Polybag, I just forgot this thing existed in the first place. Like, I think I need to get this set. And it's a Clone Wars variant too, so it's technically much better than the new one that came out last year. Okay, and this one's kind of cool just because I like the DC Heroes Unite, but the Lex Luthor Polybag from 2012, I actually really adore. It has the 3 black bricks that, like, the gun is supposed to separate all the big black shiny bricks from the Arkham, essentially, and it recreates a cool scene. I like this a lot. Like, if you know ball, you know ball. Okay, I really want to talk about these also too, but there was like all these like Fiori like Polybags that came out in 2012, and I have to show a couple of them right here because no joke, I sat here and I'm like, I never remember seeing any of these. These are all under the V-Power Racers Fiori line, and I just did a whole video on Lego Racers, but after I did the video, I looked up this and I was like, crap, I need to get my hands on some of these. I might actually do a video just on the V-Power sets alone, honestly. So more content for you Lego Racer fans. Damn, was this year pretty damn good year for Lego? I think it was. Alright, last 2 sets. Ghost Polybag from Monster Fighter. There's a Ghost Polybag from Monster Fighters. It's a clock and it's a ghost. I want the ghost. Okay, and then the last but not least, honestly, the Frodo with Cooking Quarter Polybag. This is stupid, but I really just want a Frodo minifigure, and this set goes for like $15, like sealed. So it's like, oh, it's not that crazy much. Well, yeah, it's technically not, but it's also like $15 for a Polybag is like... Wait for the review.